Okay, Be'ezrat Hashem, Na'aseh v'natzliach. I'd like to welcome you to Ironside Lunch and Learn. I want to give an honorable mention to our gracious host, Judah and Ofer Mizrahi, for giving us the use of the space and for bringing us this catered meal that we have every single week. Today is especially special for all to see. Very unique artisan hummus vegetarian meal. Chazak Baruch. We are fresh off the holiday of Shavuot, and it's very interesting that the first parasha after Shavuot is always Parashat Naso. Parashat Naso, we have to look into it. What does God want to tell us 1 week after Shavuot? What is the message in this week's parasha? What is the concepts that God wants us to deal with exactly 1 week after Matan Torah? Well, if you want to just take a look as a quick overlook of Parashat Naso, the parasha begins, "V'adaber Hashem Moshe lemor, Naso et rosh bnei Gershon, gam hem lebet avotam mishpechotam." We are continuing taking the census of the Levites. Shevet Levi, this is a continuation of counting the tribe, the way we count it, as well as divvying up their responsibilities. Each family from the Levi tribes, whether it's the Kehati or it's the Merari, each one gets the different responsibilities of either breaking down the Mishkan, setting up the Mishkan, different things that need to get carried. And there's several other subjects buried in this parasha. The one that follows the census of the counting of Shevet Levi is the story of the Sotah, the wayward woman. And after that, we have the story of the Nazir, the Nazarite, the one who refrains from drinking wine and cutting his hair and tries to get to a higher level of holiness with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And right after all those subjects, something very interesting, right in between, we have Birkat Kohanim, the blessing of the Kohen. And then we have the parasha ending up with Naso, ending up with the offering of the tribal leaders. So we have every single tribe has its leader, like Nachshon ben Aminadab, Netanyah ben Uziel, all these different names of tribal leaders that would come and bring their first offering on the Mishkan. Those are all the subject matters that are in this week's Parashat Naso. Another very interesting fact about this parasha, it's the longest one in the Chumash. It consists of 176 pesukim. Furthermore, there's two other very long, you could say similarly as long, sefarim that have the number 176. In this week's parasha, we have 176 pesukim. The longest perek of Tehillim also has 176 pesukim. It's Perek Kuf Yutet. Perek Kuf Yutet is the 119th chapter in Tehillim that has the Aleph Bet in it. Each letter has 8 pesukim that start with the letter Aleph, and then another 8 pesukim that start with the letter Bet, and all the 8 pesukim that start with the letter Gimel, and so on and so forth, until the whole alphabet over. It totals up to 176 pesukim. And then there's also an additional Gemara, the longest Gemara, the longest tractate is 176 pages, which is Baba Batra. So you have this 176 running in the Chumash, in the Tehillim, and also in the Gemara. Now, is there a connection? Is there a connection between these three pieces of literature that have the number 176, and is there any significance to the number 176? So, before we try to establish the connection, we have to understand that we just came off a 49-day journey of character and spiritual refinement. We just finished the Omer, with a climax of the 50th day being Matan Torah, the holiday of Shavuot. And all of it was a result for us to litchaber echad lasheni, to have a connection Ben Adam lechavero and Ben Adam lamakom. Mostly Ben Adam lechavero. You should have worked on your character refinement for 49 days, so the end result will be a lev tov, a good heart, where you're feeling for another Jew, where you care for another Jew, where you're connected to another Jew. And the end result was unity. We need to be united. Hashem wants us to be the same point like we were under Har Sinai. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, before He handed us off the Torah, the biggest gift of all, we were downstairs displaying the one nation with one heart, united, that He could not resist. He could not avoid giving us the Torah, because we were displaying exactly what the Torah is all about. A united nation, all in one heart. So now that we're coming off all of that, we come to Parashat Naso, and the rabbis want us to learn this. He says if you take the word Naso, you can actually create a different word with it, which is seno, or sin'ah. What is sno or sin'ah? Hatred. There's a possibility for us to deal with hatred 1 week after Matan Torah. How is that possible? Well, remember, we just said that we have the Perk of Tehillim, the Chumash, and the Gemara. Each one opens up with a different line. Let's see what the connection is. For example, in this week's parasha, it says, Naso et rosh bnei Gershon gam hem lebet avotam mishpachotam. It says, count all the people, all the heads of the family of Bnei Gershon to their homes, of their fathers, to their families. Sounds like unity. Sounds like something uniting over there. Counting a tribe, counting a family, counting a tribe, the Levim. Tehillim reads, Ashrei temimei derech haolchim b'torat Hashem. Blessed are, or exalted are, the ones that are temimim. Temimim, you could say, not naive, but wholehearted in the ways of Hashem and walking in the ways of the Torah. The Gemara starts, Masechet Baba Batra, Hashutafin sheratzu la'asot mechitza b'chatzer, bonin et hakotel ba'emtza. It says the partners that want to build a partition in their backyard, they build a partition right in the middle. So over here we see that we have 3 different pesukim that seem to have like no connection to one another. However, all of them deal with a person's way of life within his family and within his neighbors. That within the family and within your neighbor, or your neighbor meaning a fellow Jew, there could be either the unity, of, like we just left off of Shavuot, or sin'ah, hatred, or disharmony, or some sort of an uncomfortable state with your fellow Jew. Take a look. There are 3 major obstacles in life. And we can learn these major obstacles in the number 176. There's the number 6, the number 7, and the number 1. 6 represents the mundane. 7 represents holiness. And 1 usually represents God, or it also represents your partner in life. Your zivug. Now, in the mundane, don't need to tell you how hard it is to make parnasah, to wake up in the morning, to do your avodat Hashem, to provide for yourself. You know, the everyday work life, it's not easy for some. Not everybody gets up and walks into a successful business. For some people, it's a real struggle. The number 7 that has to do with holiness, it's also a struggle. Not everybody can connect to God. Not everybody can connect to the religion. Sometimes it's the hardest thing for the individual is to connect to something holy or to connect to something spiritual. Sometimes they'd rather not deal with their spirituality. So that's something that's sometimes difficult for people. And the number 1 signifies the zivug, a person's soulmate, which is sometimes very, very hard. One to find. Once you find, then to actually get into the whole marriage state and living in a successful marriage. Being in a successful marriage is a gift. Not everybody merits it. There's a lot of marriages that have a lot of hardships, with the two people getting along, being in the same state of mind, or being able to be accepting of one another, and later on when the kids come into the pictures, having the proper tools how to deal with life. Not everybody is well equipped to be a husband and a wife, and not everybody is well equipped to be a father or a mother. If you don't have the tools, it becomes difficult. So you find that throughout life, most people are dealing with the 1 and the 7 and the 6. With the wife, or with the spouse, or with the mate, with holy matters of the world, spirituality, and the mundane. Now, what would be the solution to this? What would be the solution to these hardships? So he says, okay, how do we marry the mundane and the holy? So we take the 6 and we take the 7. What's 6 plus 7? 13. 13. Now you have to understand, what we speak a lot about over here is gematria. What's gematria? It's the numerical value of the Hebrew letters. Now you have to understand that the Hebrew letters are very powerful. The world got created from the Hebrew letters, with the Hebrew letters. Not only that, the power of speech is the most powerful tool on the planet. We sometimes overlook it or don't even know the power of our words, of the mouth. However, when you come up across a word, and a word has a numerical value, and then there's another word that has the same numerical value, you should know that there's a correlation between the two. There's a connection between the two. I'll give you a classic example. The word yain, wine. Yain is yud, yud, nun. 10, 10, and 50. Together is 70. The word sod, secret, is samech vav dalet, 66 and 4. That also 70. So yain is 70 and secret is 70. And there's the age-old adage that says, nichnas yain, yatsa sod. There's a connection. You drink a little bit of wine, a person can release a secret. There's another word. If you take the word ahava, ahava is aleph is 1, hey is 5, bet is 2, hey is another 5, altogether 13. So here's our 13. Ahava, you take the 6 and the 7. If you want to get out of the hardships of the mundane and of the spiritual, you need 13. What's 13? Ahava. What about the 1? What about the 1? How do you spell 1? Echad. Aleph is 1, Chet is 8, Dalet is 4, there's 13 also. Ahava and Echad have the same gematria, 13 and 13. In other words, to show you that if you want to get out of the hardships of the mundane, the spiritual, you need Ahava and you need unity, Echad. Those are the secrets. Love and unity are the secrets to the hardships in life. That's how you overcome them. Now, there's another concept, this is a good math class today, of mispar katan. What's mispar katan? You should know that no matter what the number is, you can always bring it down to its smallest number. For example, we just did it. Let's take 176. What's the mispar katan of 176? Let's do it. 6 plus 7 is 13. 13 plus 1 is 14, right? Now, 14 is the number 1 and the number 4. What's 1 plus 4? 5. So the mispar katan is 5. Over there's another secret. It's letting us know that the 5 is the chamisha chumshe Torah. The way that you get out of your 1, your 6, and the 7 is by having ahava and achdut, love and unity. But the deeper secret, it's achieved through what? Through the number 5. What's the number 5? Chamisha chumshe Torah. We have a lesson over here. We have a very big lesson over here, just in the sodot of behind the Parashat. Keep in mind, the Torah was given on Har Sinai. The rabbis tell us that since the day that the Torah was given to the Jewish people on Har Sinai, Yarda sin'a la'olam. Hatred came down to the people, came down to the world for the Jews. Whether you want to admit it or not, whether you see it or not, you should know that the world hates us from the moment that we received the Torah. They are envious that God chose the Jewish people to get the biggest gift of all. The gift that has been in the heavens for 974 generations before God decided to give it to a certain group of people, which is the Jewish nation. And since then, Har Sinai, because Sinai came down to the world. So it's no coincidence that we're learning now about unity, about love, and about the Torah. Furthermore, what's the difference between love and hate? Let's talk about hate. Typically, hate comes when a person is not like you. It's very easy to love someone who is like you. A person who doesn't share, who is not like you, or does not share the same morals, does not share the same ethics, does not share the same point of view, the same hashkafa, the same religion, same way of thinking, it causes hate. It causes hate. The root of hatred in this world, if you've ever seen it, is when two people had a difference of opinion and they didn't agree to live side by side. That's the Crusades. That's all the killings throughout history of the Christians killing the Jews. Right now, what's the biggest problem the Jews are having with Muslims? The Muslims are saying, it's our way or the highway. It's either you become a Muslim or we can't tolerate you. We have to kill you. Why? Our book says so. Because you're not like me. Us as Jews, we don't have that mentality. It's actually part of our 613 mitzvot of Aseh v'Shelot Ta'aseh. If you go down the list, somewhere in the middle you're going to find this one that says, Lo tisna et achecha bilvavecha. We are not allowed to hate our brothers. We're not allowed to hate each other. It's a sin to hate. Hocheach tocheach et amitecha. If you see a person doing something wrong, rebuke him. Be able to tell him the right way. And about that we spoke many times in this class, what's the right way to do it. And you have to know what to say, the right thing at the right time to the right person. It's an art. If you say something at the wrong time, you lose that person. And hatred. It says, why lo tisna et achicha bilvavecha? Hocheach tocheach et amitecha. You have to give him rebuke. Velo tisa alav het. Otherwise, the sin is going to come on you. So, for example, let's give the classic example of a guy that doesn't keep Shabbat. He doesn't keep Shabbat, and you keep Shabbat. You already know the beauty of Shabbat. You know the blessing of Shabbat. You know the secret of Shabbat. And you look at him and like, I love you, brother. You're my brother. You're another Jew. I got to let you know. The source of your success with your wife, with your business, with your health, with everything is all buried in one day in the Shabbat. You have to know this. And I know you're not there, and I know you're not holding, and maybe you're just getting there, but I want you to know that that's where it is. And I'm telling you this because I love you. Okay, if you said it to the right person at the right time, was able to receive it, he did. Otherwise, if you don't, the sin of him not keeping Shabbat goes on you. But keep in mind that the first part of the pasuk says, "V'lo tisna et achecha." It says, but be careful. Why? The continuation of this pasuk goes that if you don't do it the right way, it's going to cause hatred. Because let's say if a person is not ready to hear it, you're now making him feel bad about his lifestyle. Right now you're making him feel bad about the way he lives his life. So he's thinking, well, you want to tell me that you're better than me? You want to tell me that you're the way you live life is better than I live life? You think because you shut down for 25 hours, you're Moshe Rabbeinu, and I'm some sort of Rasha Merusha? Get out of here, I don't want to hear you, don't talk to me, our friendship ends now. Sometimes it's like that. So it says, you're going to know when it's the right time. But it says over here from this pasuk, Lo tisna et achecha. We're not allowed to hate. It's not part of the Jewish religion. Know that. All the division that you see right now in Israel, or between the Jewish people, religious, secular, political, not political, this lifestyle, that lifestyle, regardless of what we think, There's a way to introduce the right way to live life to anybody. This whole division is the reason why all the world is on top of us. If we were united, the achdut of Am Yisrael is the secret of our nation. Now, if this is so, how do we see it in this week's parasha? So in this week's parasha, we see the Levim are getting, the different families are starting to get the different tasks or jobs that need to be done within the Mishkan. So you all of a sudden you have the middle brother getting the prestigious job, and then you're getting the older brother getting the menial job, and all of a sudden it seems like something is off. You would think that the older brother from the older original son of Levi would get to carry the Aron, or to deal with the menorah. But meanwhile somebody else gets it. So they would think, over here there's a good reason to argue. There's a good reason to feel like I got slighted, and it's time for me to stand up and cause machloket. Or possibly brotherly hatred, sinat chinam, because I get to do this and you get to do that. Meanwhile, the Torah testifies that nobody said a word. They accepted it. There was no sinah. Naso, they will carry it. Whatever you tell me, I will do. It was a good example of that. Later on, we see the subject of the sotah, the wayward woman, where you see that's it. The v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, or the connection of the holy and the mundane, of the neshama and the physical, is not there anymore between a husband and a wife. And now he's got to take it to the Kohen. So we see over here a situation where we're not able to, there is no unity in the marriage. So we see that we have over here different cases of how we can learn out ahava and achdut. And the most interesting thing about all this is that right in between of this parasha, with all these different concepts, we have a couple of pesukim that talk about Birkat HaKohanim. What's the connection? Why is Birkat HaKohanim sandwiched in the middle of all these concepts? And let alone right after Shavuot? Well, this is the main point of our class today. Birkat HaKohanim, and I'm going to introduce you to it because it's a very, very interesting concept, because it's something that we hear every day. If you go to a Sephardic minyan, every single day there's a Birkat Kohanim. Ashkenaz only do it on the holidays. What is the power of the Birkat Kohanim? What are the words that are being used? And what is the background to it? So if you go to Perek Vav, Pasuk Chaf Bet, it says over there. And this is what I'm reading right now, is actually a prayer. We say it every day. It says, Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el Aharon ve'el banav lemor. Kol tevarechu et bnei Yisrael amor lahem. Says, Hashem spoke to Moshe and he tells him, speak to Aharon and to his sons to tell them, this is the way that you should bless the Jewish people. You should tell upon them. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Hashem will bless you and protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Hashem will line up His face upon you, and He will instill on you beauty. Beauty meaning to be liked by other people. Chen. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasevcha shalom. Hashem should position His face upon you, or enlist His face upon you, and He will bless you with peace. And they will put my name on Bnei Israel and I will bless them. Meaning the Kohanim should put my name on Bnei Israel and I'm going to be the one blessing them. In other words, the Kohanim are just a vessel. The Kohanim take God's blessing and they pass it on. And we'll explain that in a minute, why it's particularly done in that way. So, let's get some history about Kohanim. First of all, Kohen. The word Kohen, let's go back to Gematria. Chaf is 20, Nun is 50, He is 5. Altogether is 75. Why is he called a Kohen? Because the Kohen uses 15 words with 60 letters. That's his power. Kohen, 75, equates to 15 words and 60 letters, which is the Birkat HaKohanim. That's his essence. Know that when somebody's name, that's his essence. That's who he is. When you say a Kohen, the Kohen has to mean something. Here in particular, it means that the 60 letters that he uses to form the 15 words of Birkat HaKohanim, that's the power of a Kohen. Now, the Birkat Kohanim is a blessing that was given to the Kohanim, the sons of Aharon, where they are able to transmit God's blessing through their fingers. You know, typically when there's a Birkat Kohanim, we can't look at the Kohanim. We look down, we cover ourselves. The Kohanim have a special way of doing the fingers, like a special, like this, or like that. And a Birkat Kohanim, typically if you have children, or if your father is around, he puts his hand on top of your head, so the blessing can go from him to you. There's also many different ways that people interact during Birkat Kohanim. Birkat Kohanim, we said, is 15 words, right? So there's a segula from the Ben Ish Chai that says when the Birkat Kohanim starts, you should count the perakim in your fingers. What's the perakim? These little parts of your hand. Why? Because you have over here 14. 14 gematria yud dalet, yad. Why is it called yad? It's called yad because we have 14 perakim in the hand. So you say, Yevarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, Yair Hashem panav elecha v'yichoneka, Yisa Hashem panav elecha v'yasem lecha. Oh, shalom. What happened to shalom? It's 15. We only have 14. We're missing one part. The word of shalom. So how do we do that? How do we complete the 15th word, shalom? So the rabbis tell us that the shalom is on the palm. For example, how do we say hello? We take another person's hand, palm to palm, and what do we say? Shalom. Hello. Where did that come from? Why don't we wiggle our ear when we see somebody else? Why don't we move our nose? What's this custom of shaking somebody's hand when you meet them? What's the source for it? Why don't we do something else? Salute, bow, I don't know, shake a hand, or shake a leg. Where is this custom of holding hands and saying shalom? It's from us. It's from the part of the 15th part where we go from one to the hand and we shake together in order to activate that last word, shalom. As a matter of fact, the bracha that a person gets, typically back in the days, what was the bracha? Bracha is when you have enough food to eat. Back in the days, people ate breakfast and dinner, 2 meals a day. 2 meals 6 days a week is 12. And on Shabbat, we have Seudah Shlishi, that's 3. 12 plus 3 is 15. So that's why some rabbis say, why do we call it Shabbat Shalom? Because Shalom is that 15th, that extra meal that we eat on Shabbat. A lot of different ways to tie it in. A lot of people do have the custom to say a special nusach when a person has a bad dream. If you look in your Sidurim, a good time to do, if somebody has a bad dream, something that is really shaking him up, he should go to a shul and wait for Birkat Kohanim, and as soon as the Kohanim bless, you should say that special nusach. It makes that, it's like Hatavat Chalom. Also something you should know. Also, a lot of people sometimes go to the end of the world to get a bracha. They go wait online for 5 hours so they can kiss a rabbi's hand. And they go all the way to Israel, to this specific rabbi that can fix this and can fix that. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for that. I'm one of those guys. However, sometimes people also, you know what, I need help in Parashat. Let me go to China. In China, they have these special items that you buy for 2 cents and you can pay for it, and you can sell them for $10. Oh, the bracha is over there. Everyone goes and searches for bracha. Yet the biggest bracha that a person can get is find yourself a Birkat Kohanim. Find yourself in a shul where there's a Kohen, put your head down and get the blessing of a Kadosh Baruch Hu on you. There's no better blessing than that. Don't ever underestimate the power of a Kohen, because he's the conduit to a blessing from God. If you find yourself in a shul where they're doing Birkat Kohanim, know that God loves you. God says, I want to bless you. That's why you're here. That's why there's a Kohen here. Sometimes you go to shul, there's no Kohanim. Why? Kol mishamayim. Now, we could ask, that why does Hashem use the Kohanim? Why can't Hashem bless us? Why does he need a human being? Why does he need a Kohen? Why doesn't just God bless me direct? Why do I need the Kohen's, like the transfer through a Kohen to get the beracha? So this is very interesting. God's blessing, God's shefa, is actually too big for us to handle it direct. It's too big. It's like I'm asking you, I need a glass of water, and Hashem opens up the Hoover Dam. Could you imagine how much water is coming over there? You don't need that much water for a glass. But that's Hashem's shefa. Hashem's shefa is just on a larger scale. We can't handle that shefa right away. It has to go through almost like a sifter or like a conduit in order to bring it down to the right amount that we need. Like for example, let's say when we go shopping, right? When we go into Costco, there's all these things here that I need. I need this. You have a need for several products. You can't pick up the paper towels and the 6 jugs of oil and the olives and whatever it is, or the washing detergent. You don't have enough. You don't have the capacity to carry everything, right? What do you have to do? You have to put all the things that you need into a vessel. What is it? The cart. You put it all into the cart, right? Sometimes 2, sometimes 3. It all depends how much shopping you have. Now you got to bring all the shefa, all these products into your home. How are you going to do it? Well, you need another vessel. What's the vessel? You need your vehicle. So you take out all the stuff and you put it into your car. And then after you take it into your car, it's still not yours. It's still not in the house. You still have to take it from your trunk all the way into the house. So this whole shefa that you got from Costco wasn't able to be brought into your life unless you had some sort of vessels that were able to bring it to you from there to your house. Similarly is Birkat Kohanim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says you can't handle it one shot. I have to give it to you through the Kohanim, and the Kohanim give it to you in the right dosage. Because we're not a proper keli. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu is using the Kohanim for that particular blessing. Now, pay attention to the blessing. This will completely tie in the beginning of our lesson to the end of it. Aharon, all the Kohanim, if you go to shul, what is their beracha? Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam asher gisham tzad tzivanu levarech et amo Yisrael be'ahava. That's legit their blessing. Levarech et amo Yisrael, to bless his nation of Israel, be'ahava, with love. Wow. We don't say, שהכל נהיה בדברו באהבה. המוציא לחם מן הארץ באהבה. So first you should know that the reason why this particular blessing is be'ahava is because Aharon HaKohen was the original God-loving, God-fearing Jew. Jew-loving Jew, the original of all time. Let's not put it that way. I'm sorry. Let me retract back. He was the one that merited to actually have a blessing that says, Aharon can bless all of Am Yisrael with love. He had that. And since that was in his DNA, that was passed on to his children, and they continue to do that. You know, a Kohen who is fighting with somebody in shul, the rabbi can ask him to leave and ask him, please don't do Birkat Kohanim, because it's fake. A Kohen has to legit love all the people in the congregation, because when he lifts up and says, okay, he's got to project love into the air, a blessing of God with love. Imagine he has some sort of like sour business deal with some guy in the shul, or some guy that he doesn't like, or he doesn't have, he's a Kohen that himself needs to work on his midot. What's going to happen? It's a fake bracha. It's a fake bracha. And you should know that many shuls, bring this type of subject up to the rabbi, and they say, Rabbi, we have a Kohen, and we very well know that there's an issue with Mr. X and an issue with Mr. Z. Is this the right way for him to do Birkat Kohanim? And sometimes they ask him, until you don't make Shalom, you can't go up and do Birkat Kohanim. Imagine. So the bracha begins with Ahava. And the bracha itself says, Yisa Hashem panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. There it is. There's the Ahava in the beginning and the Shalom at the end. V'yasem lecha shalom. The key over here is that Aaron wants to bless us with peace. Okay. Here we have the secret to life. Like we said at the beginning of the lesson. Ahava, love, and achdut. Achdut comes when you have peace, when you have shalom. When do you have achdut? Pridut is when you don't have peace, when you're all divided. When you are united, you have peace. Ahava and shalom are one of the key ingredients to a successful life and to the success of a Jew. Because ahava v'shalom, peace and love, create unity. And like we said, that's the secret to the Jew, is unity. There's a saying that says, Adam chacham, a smart man, mitchaber lechavero lamrot hashinui. He connects to his friends regardless of their differences. Velo mitrachek mimeno be'ikvot hashinui. And does not distance himself because of his differences. In other words, we said, where does hate stem from? It stems from people being different. Not thinking alike, not acting alike, not sharing the same point of view, the same hashkafa. That is the source of hatred, as history has shown. In Judaism, it says, no. You are going to be an individual. You are going to be different. We're all going to be different. We're not cookie cutter. We're all going to be different characteristics, different types of human beings, but that's what's going to bring us closer. Because we accept each other for the differences that we are, and we are forbidden to hate somebody else because they're different. Lo tisna et achicha. So, it's always nice to say these concepts of how we can, make the world a better place to live in. Oh, love and peace. I sound like a hippie right now. Put me a tie-dyed shirt and a bandana, let me go preach it in the street, right? But we're teaching here Jewish concepts. So what's a Jewish concept of love and peace? Well, there's a secret to how we can achieve peace. In the Amidah, this is something I saw in a video from the young rabbi in Brooklyn. I don't have his name right now, but I'm saying it in his honor. It was a really interesting video. It says, if you want to know how to achieve peace, how do you do it? He says the secret is Amidah. We do it every day. What do we do? When it comes to the end of the Amidah, we take 3 steps back and we say, Oseh shalom b'momav, hu berachamav yaseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol ha'aseh v'yimro amen. How can the secret to peace be in the end of the Amidah? He says, well, Oseh shalom. He makes peace. How? He says, the secret to making peace is, first of all, when you step back from your opinion. Sometimes you have an opinion, you hold strong to it. To Oseh shalom, if you want to do Oseh shalom, you step back. And then what do? You bend a little bit to the left. You bend a little bit to the right. You listen to his side, listen to her side. And by going back and forth to these different, being more flexible, you're able to achieve peace. Because why? If you're holding too much over here, and he's holding too much over here, and you're both rigid, that means you have, very similarly to the sfirot that we spoke about. For example, a person can be all chesed. My opinion is all good all the time. The other guy says, my opinion is gvura all the time. Din, din, din. So this guy wants to be a nice guy. This guy wants to be a tough guy. They're not budging. Say shalom b'brama. Step back from your opinion. You bend a little bit. He bends a little bit. And you get to the middle ground. That's the shalom. And by the way, what did they call that third sfira? Tiferet. What's Tiferet? Tiferet is the combination of Chesed and Din. And that's the secret to life. When you're bending over in order to make the Shalom. So we see over here the lesson of Parashat Naso right after Shavuot is that Naso doesn't turn into Sin'ah. That we appreciate each other's differences. That we don't hate. That we activate love. And that we do this in the way of Ahava and Achdut. The secret to the Jew and the success of the Jewish nation is Achdut. Am echad belev echad. The same way we were in Matan Torah underneath the mountain is what Hashem wants us to know the week after that. Don't fall into what you possibly might think is the right way to live. Don't let go of the feeling that we had under Har Sinai. Hashem varech otchem, sameach otchem. Have a great rest of the week.